What's up, vinyl community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live, as always, from the Man Cave. First time I've come at you guys from the Man Cave in quite some time. Just because I haven't come at you from the Man Cave in a while doesn't mean I haven't been getting new stuff in. You guys know how I wagon wheel. I'm always getting some good stuff in. So there's a ton of it here. I'm gonna try to get through it as quick as I can. I'm gonna try to, obviously, as I always do, highlight the best stuff, and then kind of, go on a little bit quicker through the more common stuff, maybe some reissues. But in this one, I've got some VCLT. I've got some stuff that I bought off a friend. I got some stuff gifted to it from a friend. I've got a major box set that I just bought. I'm sure that you guys are all, a lot of you watching, if you're jazz fans, probably have it or have it on your radar. And then I'm gonna go through a bunch of new stuff I've gotten, all killer to me. Some of it more killer than others. There's going to be heat throughout this video. I got to warn you. I know you guys, a lot of you are probably accustomed to skipping all the way to the end, seeing the heat, and keeping your day going on about your business. There's heat scattered throughout this one. I've got to let you know, like for starters, this box I'm getting ready to open, I know a couple that's in there, but I don't know everything that's in there. So I'll start with that. I wanted to do the unboxing on video. I figured my buddy who sent it to me would appreciate it. First things first. For those of you who aren't familiar, my boy Tree, I love Supreme on YouTube. It's Tree McGee on Instagram, and I love Supreme Love, excuse me, on YouTube. Great channel, great guy, great friend. Highly recommend that after you get through watching this video, you go on over there to him, subscribe, like his videos, go ahead and hit that bell and get those notifications, because it's always great stuff. He's always getting great stuff in, and he's just a pretty damn nice guy. So first things first, let's go ahead and start with this video, buddy. Wanted to lead off, go ahead and eliminate the suspense for you. I know you were looking forward to me opening it on video. It's been hard to sit here and look at it all week, knowing I didn't have time to, and wanted to do the unboxing on camera. I gotta tell you, anybody you ever get a package from Tree McGee, he's got it secured. Alright, got it open. Let's see what we got. Shut her off. First things first, one that I paid for so that he could upgrade. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the Alfie soundtrack by Sonny Rollins. Great stuff. Splat out. You guys already know how I wagon wheel on that. Got to see it. Great stuff. Always an album worth upgrading. Anytime you get a chance to upgrade on a Sonny Rollins album, guys, you just got to do it. And so it's a beautiful copy, Tree. I really appreciate it. I think you said you had upgraded for condition. It's a pretty damn solid looking copy. So the one you got must really be killer. But that's first. So see what I told you guys, heat all through the video. First record I show you, original pressing of Alpha. So you know. Next up is going to be the killer in the box. So you can tell that going to be killer throughout, guys. Boys and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, probably the biggest one in the whole video. Right there at the jump. Getting around, Dexter Gordon, original stereo pressing. Splat out, for any of you guys who don't know anything about it, damn, this is a clean copy, buddy. Dexter Gordon on tenor, Bobby Hutcherson on violas, Barry Harris on piano, Bob Cranshaw on bass, Billy Higgins on sticks. This is the one that Tree got for a crazy good deal a few months back. And listened to it, liked it, and enjoyed it. But at the end of the day, A, just thought that I would enjoy it more, and B, had a couple of other ones that he would enjoy more that he thought he needed the money to go ahead and grab. So, in his words, he wasn't going to sell it to anybody but me. So he and I worked out a pretty damn good deal, fair for both sides, I believe, and here it is. So, Dexter Gordon getting around. This bitch is clean. Lord have mercy. Clean copy. Appreciate the MoFi sleeve, buddy. Anytime you can get somebody who's serious about taking care of their stuff. Wonderful. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for working with me on that deal. Next up, a couple pieces of cardboard. Another piece of cardboard. My daughter will appreciate those. She loves, always keep those back behind. She loves to draw and color them. But next up, so Dylan, my boy Dylan at Noble Records had gotten an original pressing of Clifford Jordan's Glass Bead Games. And for those of you that are in the jazz world that are going after jazz albums, that is a major on Strata East. It hasn't been reissued that many times. Even the reissues are impossible to find. And when he got it, I thought to myself, yes, this is my chance. So I messaged him about it. Well, he's keeping it. Every so often, my boy keeps them. Not that often, or I wouldn't have a lot of stuff that I have, but every so often, he keeps them, and that's one he decided to hold on to. So I'm like, damn it. Like, all right, you ever change your mind, you know who to holler at, or if you ever get another one, you know who to holler at. But he kept that one, can't blame him. It's absolutely one I would have kept. But I had mentioned Tree, he and I were talking back and forth about it or whatever. I told him that was one that I really wanted, and about how it didn't go through. Dylan was keeping it, and so, he went out of his way and went and found me a reissue. Clifford Jordan, Glass Bead Games, Analog Limited Edition. Even it became hard to find, and when you did find it, you usually found it overseas. But he managed to find it at a shop for a cheaper price than I've seen it, and I can't even tell you for how long. And he grabbed it for me without even asking, and then told me he found it for me. So I sent him some cash, and there you have it, Clifford Jordan Glass Bead Games. I'm so excited. I've never actually heard the album on vinyl. I've only ever streamed it. So thanks for snagging that for me, buddy. I really appreciate you taking the initiative. That's awesome. Next up, what I got? Two more? No, one more. And these are just, this is some extra pad. Okay, cool. Gotcha. And this one right here is a little VCLT love from my boy. It's one that he's always been very fond of. It's not an expensive one per se, but it is pretty damn good. Johnny Clegg and Savuka, I think that's how you say it, or Savuka, I'm not sure, but it's like African beat, African style stuff. Really cool, funky as hell, awesome kind of record. And I got to tell you, I really do. I dig it quite a bit. And my boy had saw it in one of his shops in Colorado, thought about me, thought I needed it, snagged it, sent it my way. I really appreciate you, buddy. And Tree, I don't think you'd mind me reading the letter, I don't think. So I'm going to go ahead with that. I am glad to see these albums going to someone who will really appreciate them. As I've told you many times, Johnny Kless was part of the soundtrack of my childhood. Many a road trip with my mom, and Shadow Man being one of the tapes we had in the car. The other one being Paul Simon's Graceland. Yeah, great album. I was honored to see him perform a few years ago before he passed. True talent and a wonderful human being. Shadow Man is the one I know you will enjoy. Enjoy the music, Tree. And then, awesome stuff. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. So that's my boy Tree's package. Cheers to all you guys, by the way. The next few I'm going to run through really quick because my last video, I showed these exact same records, but I don't like for anybody to assume that everybody watches all my videos, because I know like a lot of the viewers that I had when I started no longer watch and everything like that, and I get it. So I always like to do all these videos as if I'm talking to you guys for the first time. So last Saturday I went to Noble Records. Start off, new Noble Records swag. For those of you who are local, pick one up and shop. For those of you who are not local, I'm pretty sure he's selling them online. That's usually my boy's MO when it comes to the merch and the swag. So going in there, support my boy. Anyway, super comfortable, cool as hell. So the next handful, so I grabbed John Coltrane's Ascension. That's an original mono. Splat out. My least favorite Coltrane album probably, but Coltrane's my favorite artist. So there you have that. Next up, super clean promo copy of Understanding by John Patton. Clean. I mean, like seriously clean. Splat out. Again, original stereo. Audition copy. Cool stuff and a wonderful album. Next up, the one that I went up there for. The Sound of Sunny by Sonny Rollins. Riverside. It's a second mono. Splat out. You know, Sonny Rollins, Sonny Clark, Percy Heath, Paul Chambers, Roy Haynes. It's a killer. I've been after it for a long time. And the last but not least was from Dylan at Noble Records, was one that I had been looking to reacquire for a while, ever since I traded my copy for his saxophone Colossus Una Mas. and the bridge. If anybody wants any more backstory on that story, please look at my last video. But it's the only non-jazzer you're going to see today. It's Allison Krauss Union Station Live. It's a 3LP MoFi box set. It goes for a lot. It is killer. I love it. Probably my favorite non-jazz record in my collection. Next up is one that I didn't think I was going to be able to get my hands on, because it was released in limited quantities. They announced it like earlier this year, late last year. And so from that moment that it was available for pre-order, I pre-ordered it. Bam. On it. Gotta have it. And a bunch of things came up. Because it's an expensive box, a bunch of things came up. I was going to be unable to have it clear for the pre-order, so I had to cancel. But I thought I'd get another one. You know, it's an expensive-ass jazz box set. I'll be able to go back and get another one. Well, they sold really quick. I underestimated it. Sold really quick, sold out really quick, and it looked like I was never going to be able to get one. But then Blue Note had a post on their Instagram, Facebook, website, everything like that, saying they had some overrun copies. I can't remember how many overrun copies it was, and they were available, you know, to order. And the price was only slightly higher than the first run was, but I was very happy to jump on it because at the time I had the money. So here it goes. I'm not going to run through the whole box set. I'll probably save running through the entire box set for its own personal video, honestly, like a review type deal. Lee Morgan, The Complete Live at the Lighthouse. Guys, this bitch is sick. 12 LPs, chronicling all 4 sets performed at the Lighthouse by Lee Morgan. And I got to tell you guys, this is where his career was going. His career was going great places before his untimely death, unfortunately, at the age of 33. I haven't had a chance to listen to all of it, but what I have heard is sick. It sounds phenomenal. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it to anybody who has a chance to get one. I don't know if there are any more overrun copies available, but I think there were 2,000 in the first press on the first run, and in this overrun is overrun. It's got listed as 325 overrun copies, and this is listed as number 319. Sick. So good. If you have a chance to get one, time to jump on it. All right, now we're going to go through a bunch of mostly original stuff. Going to see what we got. This one is a bummer. So my boy Marcus from Richmond sold me this and most of the other albums that you're getting ready to see now in a couple separate packages, and this is one of the ones that I had bought from him that I was most excited to get. And I'll show you the cover first of all. It's the Billy Mitchell Quintet with Little Juicy featuring Thad Jones on trumpet. So many others. Well, okay. As you guys are going to see, sleeve on. The package showed up with the entire end flap of it screwed up and open, and a note on the front of the box says it received in damaged condition by Squiggly, whoever it is that signed it, received in damaged condition. So what happened evidently is once that happened, the record for this one slipped right out. So the record of this is either sitting in the back of a USPS truck, in a USPS facility, destroyed, tossed in a trash can, something like that. But it's chalked up as a loss for me, and it's chalked up for us most likely as a loss for my boy, because he had to claim the insurance on it, and they're probably going to say it's a lack of proof. They're probably going to say all kinds of things. Who knows? He may or may not get his money back for it, so it probably comes up as a loss for both of us. So if any of you guys have an original mono copy of Billy Mitchell Quintet and Little Juicy, you know, you could have a beaten cover and a great record and anything like that, holler at me, because I'm going to hold on, because the cover, as you guys can see, is clean. I'm going to hold on to it, and we'll see what happens. I know, it was a bummer. Everything else in the box was in phenomenal shape, like it always is when I do business with him, but that one was not to be. Next up is an album I've never owned before, and I just decided I got BlueNote.com was running a nice sale, as they sometimes do, like a 20% off, you know, deal or whatever on the merchandise in their store. So I snagged me a few that I'd been meaning to grab. I've never owned this album, Indestructible by Art Blakey, and I've been obviously holding out for the longest for an original copy, preferably mono. You guys know how wagon wheel. But after a while, especially once they posted like that 20% off sales, I fuck it, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and snag me one. So Indestructible, Art Blakey and Jazz Messengers, Lee Morgan, Curtis Fuller, Wayne Shorter, Cedar Walton, and Reginald Workman. It's a phenomenal record, and it's a Blue Note 80, and the Blue Note 80 series is solid. It's been good stuff so far. Blue Note 80/Classic series has been good stuff. So why not? At the same time I ordered that, I went ahead and ordered this. McCoy Tyner's Expansions. One of the newest Tone Poets, and it's just a phenomenal album. Between the Tone Poet series and the Classic series of the Blue Note 80s, they've really done a good job at exposing people to some more of McCoy Tyner's work. This is one of several McCoy Tyner releases that have come out in those series, and it's been great because I've talked to a lot of people who've bought these and that weren't really exposed to McCoy Tyner's work like that have all of a sudden now they're like, oh man, this guy's great, and they've gone out and tried to further get themselves, further immerse themselves, if you will, in McCoy Tyner's legendary catalog. And one of those major artists that have departed us in the last couple of years. I believe he died last year, if I'm not mistaken. One of the greatest jazz pianists of all time, McCoy Tyner. Next up was Andrew Hill, Passing Ships. It's one of those ones that when it came out a few months ago, I had meant to grab it in a brick and mortar, obviously. And by the time I had managed to get myself up to the brick and mortar, they no longer had any copies. So kind of fell back a little bit, and then they happened to have it in stock when BlueNote.com was running that sale. So here I am. So a couple of LPs on this one, great stuff. I love Andrew Hill. Joe Farrell, Woody Shaw, Dizzy Reese, Julian Priester, Bob Northern, Howard Johnson, Ron Carter, and Lenny White. It's phenomenal. It's everything Andrew Hill ever touched, in my opinion, is. Next one up is Sonny Clark, My Conception. Donald Byrd, Hank Mobley, Paul Chambers, and Art Blakey. Stayed shelved for quite some time, and then I think got its cheap reissue in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the 70s, and which was the only way to hear it for the longest amount of time. And then Tone Poet Kevin Gray decided to touch it, and thank God, because it's definitely a vastly improved cover. How does an album with Sonny Clark, Donald Byrd, Hank Mobley, Paul Chambers, and Art Blakey ever get shelved in the first place? That's just got to let you know the kind of killer fire that Blue Note has had to deal with over the decades. Next one up is I worked out a deal. I needed some money quick for an OG, so I parted with my Wayne Shorter Adams Apple SRX because the bitch was going for hundreds, and I didn't pay that for it. I think the day it was released, I think I paid $65. You guys have to remind me what it was they were when they first were announced, but I got it. It sounds phenomenal, amazing. But you guys also know me. Anytime I can part for a reissue to buy an OG, I will. I just will. And so this is one of those cases where an original copy of an album came available that I really wanted. It's like, what reissue do I have sitting around that's worth a lot of money? It was this one. So worked out a deal with my boy Ed, who you guys have heard me mention on the channel before. And we worked out kind of a sign and trade, if you will, where he gave me some cash plus his Liberty copy that you guys see here, splat out, in exchange for my SRX. So best of both worlds. I get another copy of the album to have, and I get some cash to put towards an OG. So thank you, Ed. You helped me out on both fronts because this is a killer record. Next up, so Jared Mulligan and his 10-10. I don't buy very many 10 inches, but I got this one for a pretty damn good deal. Excited to have it. I've had it before. Next up is George Shearing, The Way We Are, the Quintet Amigos. It's a pretty solid record. Next up we got Andre Previn and his pals with Shelly Manoret Mitchell, Pal Joey, modern jazz performances of songs from Pal Joey, some contemporary, bunch of heat. Next up, one that I've already owned a couple of copies of before. Space is Loaded with Milt Hinton, Wendell Marshall, and Bull Ruther. Phenomenal. Next up is Jazz Dialogue, the Modern Jazz Quartet and the All-Star Jazz Band. Original mono copy on Atlantic. Phenomenal stuff. Next up is Bobby Troop, Piano Magic. One I'm not as familiar with, but my buddy that sold it to me told me it was right up my alley. Bobby Troop, Bob Eno Volzen, Stu Williamson, Ted Nash, Ronnie Lang, and Buddy Clark and Mel Lewis on the lineup. Looking forward to delving into what looks to be a pretty sick piano jazz record. Next up is Double Shot. It's the Mariachi Brass featuring Chet Baker. Pretty cool album cover. Looking forward to this one. Never owned it before. It's on World Pacific Records. Next up is Swap Seed, Jimmy Heath and Brass. It's an original mono copy. Definitely looking forward to this one. It's on Riverside. It's my boy Dave at Local Bandography has dubbed me before the Riverside Rambler. Dave, boy, my man, if you're watching, that's me adding another one. Next up, Music to Listen to, Barney Kessel by Stereo Records, Association with Contemporary Records, a stereo copy, obviously. Cool copy. I like the cover of the album. It's a couple of ladies with a big phonograph record player, as you guys can see out on the beach. Cool copy. Cool cover. Next up is Sonny Stitt, Deuces Wild. And it's an original mono copy on Atlantic. Sonny Stitt recorded an infinite amount of albums, it seems, for an infinite amount of labels. It almost feels like every decent jazz label ever, Sonny Stitt recorded them at some point in time. And almost all of them are really, 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 really solid albums. And this is no exception. Next up, the exciting new organ of Don Patterson with Booker Irvin. You guys know how much I love Booker Irvin. This is a phenomenal record on Prestige. It's that Trident Black label, but you don't really see that one very often. You usually see the Trident Blue label. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I hadn't even paid attention to that till just now. So that's pretty cool. Next up is Lena and Gabor. So that's Gabor Szabo and Lena Horne. It's a pretty damn solid record. I dig it. It's on Sky Records. Next up is Diodato 2. Pretty damn good record on CTI Records. You guys have heard me sing the praises of CTI Records plenty of times. It's a label that's, usually cheaper to find great releases on, but they're almost all heat. No exception. Next up, Idris Muhammad, House of the Rising Sun, arranged by David Matthews. This is a great record. It's on Kudu 27. It's just a wonderful stuff if you guys are, into percussion-driven jazz. He tackles, some, a couple of covers and, things like that. And so, maybe not his most boundary-pushing album, but it's a phenomenal album. And it's got, Roland Hanna and Don Rolnick and Leon Pendarvis, William Bascom, Eric Gale, Will Lee, Joe Beck, Eric Gale. It's great lineups, great musicians, wonderful album by Idris Muhammad. Next up is Where Have I Known You Before? Return to Forever, featuring Chick Corea. Chick Corea, another one of those wonderful artists, I believe, that departed us last year. Always wonderful stuff. Great artist, great albums, great legacy. Next up, the legendary Ron Carter. Artist I believe to be top 3 on his instrument all time, still with us, still prolific. Ron Carter, Yellow and Green. Yet another album on CTI. Wonderful stuff. Highly recommend it if you see a copy, get yourself one. Next up, Love In, the Charles Lloyd Quartet, recorded live at the Fillmore Auditorium in San Francisco. I was very happy to nab this one, as I love Charles Lloyd. It's a stereo copy on Atlantic. I can't remember if it's an original stereo. Not quite an original. Phenomenal album. Next up, the Solid Trumpet of Cootie Williams. There's a 25-cent sticker right here. I didn't score it for 25 cents, but it looks like somebody did somewhere along the line. It's on Moodsville Records, it's stereo press, Cootie Williams on trumpet, Nat Jones on the keys, Harold Dodson on bass, and Bill Peoples on the sticks. Great, understated jazz record. Next up is one that I'm very happy to add, Bobby Humphrey, Blacks and Blues. Great Bobby Humphrey, great stuff. Beautiful copy. Only thing wrong with it's a little flaring, you know, slight little damage right here on the side of the cover. Not nothing you even really notice unless you really take a good look. But very happy to have added this one to the collection. Bobby Humphrey, great stuff. Next up, Maynard Ferguson 6x6. It's not too long ago in one of my videos, somebody had asked me a question in the comments if I had any Maynard Ferguson, which I've shown Maynard Ferguson records on my channel before. I know that for a fact. But I never like to assume that anybody's ever seen all of my videos. So person that asked that question, if you're watching, here's the Maynard Ferguson record for you, 6x6. Good stuff. Maynard Ferguson, Willie Maiden, Lanny Morgan, Micah Bean, Ron McClure, and Tony Inzalico. Great stuff. Next up, Terry Gibbs. It's Only Marcy. Great record. Terry Gibbs, very underrated, very appreciated in my opinion. He's on the vibes. Terry Pollard on the keys, Herbert Wright on bass, Nils Bertel Dollander on the sticks. Next up, comment, Les McCann, Atlantic. Like pretty much all Les McCann. Another great one to add to the collection with a solid record. Next up, Walter Bishop Jr., Soliloquy. Kick-ass album cover, cool stuff. Very happy to have this one, honestly. Seabreeze Records, great stuff. Next up, one of my favorite records in the stack by far. The only reason you're not looking at this bitch last is because it's not an original, but Dial S for Sonny. Sonny Clark, with Art Farmer, Curtis Fuller, Hank Mobley, Wilbur Ware, Louis Haynes. This Blue Note 1570. It is one of those good old-fashioned Toshiba Japanese pressings. It sounds amazing. It is amazing. And it's going to hold me until, could be forever. Originals of this one go for a lot. And because it's one of those Toshiba Japanese pressings, it sounds phenomenal. That much you can bank on. Next up, Freddie Roach, Mocha Motion. Awesome stuff. Stereo pressing, Freddie Roach on organ and Kay on vocal on, I think, one track on the B-side. Vincent Correo on guitar, Eddie Gladden on drums, and Ralph Dorsey on conga. It's a really, really solid record. I don't know if it's as good as his Blue Note stuff, but it's pretty damn good. Very solid. Highly recommend you get yourself a copy if you can. One of the greatest instrumentalists in the history of not only jazz music, but music period, Roland Kirk. And this is a debut on Argo. And it features Ira Sullivan. And as you guys can see, for one look, played everything at the same time, had a style that nobody's ever seen before. It's just amazing. Wonderful record. The only thing wrong with my particular new copy is the tape. The bottom and on the top, which I can only assume is to keep the split seams together, but damn, what a shame. I'd love nothing more than remove that tape and to put some seams easy strips on this bitch and have it look like a nice, clean, brand new copy, but it's a non-laminated cover. So something tells me that if I do that, I'm gonna destroy the cover. So I might just be stuck with it looking like that forever. But the point is, it's Roland Kirk, debut on Argo, original. So that's the point. Next up, I told you guys there was heat throughout this one. Next up, Archie Shepp, Mama Too Tight. This is an original stereo pressing on Impulse Records. It's one of my favorites by Shepp. It's just a beautiful record. It's amazing stuff. I highly recommend it to anybody. Definitely would get yourself a copy if you have a chance. But the great Archie Shepp, Mama Too Tight, original stereo, Impulse. Phenomenal stuff. Next up, one that I'm, oh my God, thrilled to have because I love this particular artist. He's not only one of my favorite pianists, but honestly one of my favorite artists, period. It's Born to Be Blue by the Bobby Timmons Trio. And it's original stereo on Riverside. And it's just a cool ass cover. Bobby there wearing a kick-ass suit, kick-ass three-piece suit, smoking. It's just, I don't know what it is about jazz artists on the covers of albums when they're smoking, but I've never condoned smoking. I don't like smoking. I like cigars, but I don't like cigarettes. Anyway, You guys get what I'm saying. But for some reason, the jazz artists always look cool as hell smoking on album covers. But Born to Blue Blue, Bobby Timmons Trio with Bobby Timmons on keys, Sam Jones or Ron Carter on the bass, and Connie K on the sticks. It is a kick-ass record. The cover is not perfect, but the record is beautiful. And I can't even begin to tell you guys how happy I am to have this. Wonderful. Next up is an upgrade I went for. The next two are upgrades I went for. But it's Lou Donaldson, Say It Loud. And it's original stereo pressing. It's just a cleaner copy than the one that I just had a few days ago, the one that I just got rid of this morning, actually, to my boy Ed. It's just simply a cleaner copy. But it's an original pressing, original stereo. It's a phenomenal album, as you guys can see. So splat out on the Blue Note. And just cleaner. Just everything about it's just a little bit cleaner than the one that I sold to my boy Ed, who snagged it up this morning. Next up is another one of those things where an upgrade went to my boy Ed. Excuse me. One went to my boy Ed so that I could buy an upgrade. This one is one that I upgraded from stereo to mono for. Soul jazz. I almost always prefer soul jazz and mono. You guys know how I am about mono anyway, but he got my original stereo copy super clean, and I went for an original mono upgrade. Lou Donaldson, Tommy Turrentine, Grant Green, John Patton, Ben Dixon, and of course it's the Natural Soul. Guys, this is a soul jazz masterpiece in my opinion. I flat out adore the record. Splat out. I wish I could do something about that damn red sticker. And you know, this person's desire to put their, I guess their last name on the label, Baylor. Hello, Mr. Baylor. Appreciate your record. Anyway, the last two, I mean, you know, I feel like I've been a lot of stoners throughout this entire video. But the last two, obviously, stoners. But two of them that I'm getting, another two. I mean, hey, Ed, you really racked up on me off of this stack because this is the last two also. You got, you know, the copies that I upgraded from. So one, I had a connoisseur pressing from the 90s. And those of you who've had the connoisseur pressings know they sound phenomenal. They're great stuff. Audiophile excellency, great stuff, and hold their value very well. I had a connoisseur copy of that one. Got a chance to get an original copy of this one. Ed got my connoisseur copy. I got this bitch. So, original stereo pressing, Bobby Hutcherson components. Original stereo, Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, James Spaulding on alto and flute, Bobby Hutch on vibes and marimba, Herbie Hancock on the keys, Brian Carter on bass, and Joe Chambers on the drums. What a lineup, boys and girls, and what a record. An absolutely phenomenal record. I love it. And this was one that was actually a makeup from the Billy Mitchell quartet that I led you off with not too long ago that didn't show up. And my boy wanted to make it up to me, so he pitched this one to me. It still cost me a little cash because, you know, this one's, you know, getting on up there in price. But still an excellent makeup, in my opinion. And then I've got a super clean, cleaner on the vinyl than the cover, but still super clean, original stereo copy of Bobby Hutcherson's components. Very happy. Thank you. Thank you so much, Marcus. And Ed, I hope you're enjoying your connoisseur copy. Next up, last one I'm going to show you guys in the video. Probably going to be what would be the biggest dog, I think, to most of you. I guess it just depends on who I'm talking to. But, man, I've shown you guys a lot of records. Anyway, try not to split this into multiple parts. Ed got my, I think it was Blue Label White Bee or Blue Label Black Bee pressing. And if you watch and you're in the comments, correct me if you want to, but I believe it was one of those two that I've had forever, that I bought from a thrift store 10 years ago. Seriously, been a while. And that was the copy that I just had for a while. And one of these hadn't presented itself, but it did. And spoiler alert, a matching, well, something that accompanies it is on the way. It's not here yet, but it's on its way. But it's Volume 1, Thelonious Monk, Genius of Modern Music, on Blue Note. And just in case y'all think I'm bullshitting, Splat Out original mono pressing. Beautiful stuff. But yeah, As you guys know, these were derived from some 10-inch sessions of volumes 1 and 2 or whatnot by Monk in the 50s on Blue Note Records, and they're just, well, in my opinion, they're essential. It's essential to have any Monk, honestly, in my opinion. But these two Blue Notes, this Volume 1 and Volume 2 on Blue Note, definitely essential stuff. So that's the last record I'm going to show you guys today. And no doubt, I'm going to try my best not to wait so many records deep before I show you show you more. That way you don't get what you're getting ready to get, which is a 35-minute video, and most of you guys are only going to watch like 5 minutes of it. But it is what it is. I got a chance to get this video out of the way and talk some records with you guys. And if there's only 5 of you that watched the entire video, thank you. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Enjoys some adult beverages. Enjoy some time with friends and family. Has plenty of time to spend some jazz vinyl or any kind of vinyl, no matter what it is you're into. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, until next video, keep dropping that in, you guys.